Okay. Hi, Mamoon.
Hi, Hola, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank good. Well, when you reached out to me, and initially I thought, why can't we do more webinars for scholarship? Because I don't see many channels for Pakistani where they encourage Pakistanis to apply for both internal and external awards. The big prestigious scholarship people know about those, but I'm trying to get more people interested in these awards if they can financially meet the tuition difference or pay for the maintenance grant or whatever. So I'm really glad you're here today. Just to give you the floor, how was your experience and why Nottingham? Why this program and why Nottingham?
Yep. Thank you so much for having me here. And regarding my journey, I would say it has been amazing, not to say less, but because I was one of the few students who got 100% of scholarship when I came to University of Nottingham. And if you have that kind of scholarship, it actually helps you a lot. It alleviates a lot of financial burden you have when you come here, you know. And if you have that kind of scholarship, you just need to focus on your studies and also the long-term focus for your full-time job and applications for those jobs. So it has been a really, I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was kind of easier as compared to some or maybe most of the students who were here. So I would also encourage most of the students in Pakistan right now to do apply for these kind of scholarships, you know, because they actually help you a lot, not just, in terms of financial burden, but also when you come here, you have more time to think about other things, which might, help you in the coming years.
Yeah, I really believe that people should be trying for scholarship so that they can focus on academic and also the long-term view here. So did you always know that you were going to apply for Nottingham after your undergrad?
No, I graduated in 2019 from LUMS and I worked in tech sector for like in marketing department for over 3 years. And during those 3 years, I did know that I want to go for a master's, but I wanted to know which master's degree. So in 3 years, it became quite clear that I wanted to do something in marketing, and I started applying for different universities. I applied for different programs, and some of the programs had this clause of coming back to Pakistan for serving over 2 years, and then you can go back again. So I started to, I've developed a whole process of choosing the country first and then making a list of those universities in that country, because when you're starting this whole process it can actually get a lot of I would say overwhelming, because you don't know how to start or where to start. So the easiest way is to first shortlist the countries that you can apply to, and then in those countries you need to choose one specific country which, or maybe two specific countries which actually are under your you might have some filters for your choice or your majors or your colleges or universities, right? So you choose those countries, and then in those countries you make a list of the universities that you might be interested in. So for example, for me it was either US or UK, right? And when I started applying into different universities, I just, came to a realization that it was, I believe, and whatever I say is my personal experience. I don't say it in a way that it's general opinion. It's just my opinion, okay? So I felt like it was much easier to get into universities in the UK as compared to the US. And also, it was much easier to get academic scholarships in the UK as compared to the US. And it was much easier to get 100% scholarship in the UK as compared to the US. And I failed multiple times. I didn't get into some universities. I got into some universities. It was ups and downs, always. It wasn't just on the first try I got into university and got 100% scholarship and I'm here now, right? So it was a continuous process of learning. I learned what I did wrong in 1 year of applying to different countries and universities, and I sharpened my resume, my statement of purpose, my cover letters, and everything. So I chose University of Nottingham. I thought I was just gonna apply for DSS, and I would just get maybe a 50% scholarship, and then the rest of the 50% I can cover on my own, right? But then when I applied to the university and I got to know that there's another scholarship, and after my offer letter, in just 2 weeks, they sent out another
Okay.
50% scholarship on their own. I didn't know about that. So that was a business school scholarship, and they give that scholarship to students based on their overall profile, and it is first come, first serve based. And also it's also based on how your overall profile is, in terms of not just CGPA, because I mean, you might be 3.5 or 3.3 CGPA, but overall, what kind of experiences you've had until now? Do you have a leadership potential? Do you have a potential to help your country's economy, in the future? So that kind of a profile they're looking for. And when I applied for University of Nottingham for my MSc Marketing, I just filled out an application, which was two letter of recommendations and then one statement of purpose. That's it, nothing else. And based on those two things, they just give out that scholarship to you. And I mean, business school is included in that scholarship, and some other majors are also included. And I think lots of different majors are included under that scholarship. Just there are some media and other degrees that are not included, so you might have to check, based on their website. But after that, they opened that DSS scholarship applications in April, I think, or maybe February, I think.
Yeah.
And then we applied for that, and I got that also 50% scholarship. And why University of Nottingham? Because this university allows you to combine two different scholarships to make one. While in different other universities of the UK, if you get two different scholarships, you have to choose the higher one. You can't
Okay.
combine the two different scholarships. So that's the reason I chose University of Nottingham. And I mean, obviously, it's a Russell Group university and it has a good ranking. It's top 17. My major is top 17 in the whole world from University of Nottingham. And it has quite, different campuses into different countries like China, Malaysia. So you have like really diverse kind of student body actually. And also their alumni network is really strong because they're like number two in employability ranking as of now in the
Okay.
UK. So if you graduate from University of Nottingham is like a really good, tag on your resume, which helps you get into job market really fiercely, and you can compete with other people who, might be from other Russell Group universities. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I'm actually very impressed by the alumni and career services officers at Nottingham. They're very active in ensuring students get the employment after they graduate or during their program. I've seen they're very active, much active than other UK schools. So that
Yeah.
probably helps you realize that, okay, I'm in the right place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, their careers department, I remember when I was before coming to the University of Nottingham, I was in the process of, coming to the UK. Before even starting our university program, with the careers department, we already had a Zoom session when we were in Pakistan. They told us how the UK job market would work, and we can start working on our resumes and cover letters from now. And so that, when we could come there, they told us we can book the sessions, one-to-one sessions with those people in careers department and brush up on our, resumes, cover letter skills, and other skills. And yeah, they're really active, I would say.
Well, I'm glad you had that experience. I'm glad. So going back to the application a bit, we were discussing that some of the questions have changed, but if they have removed one question, I think the development impact of this scholarship it cannot be taken lightly. This is almost like Commonwealth Development Plan. Would you agree on that? Because they're asking if you have contributed in your respective field to the economic development of your country. It could be economic, it could be social development, it could be financial. But that really got me thinking. Your program marketing. I have seen your work experience. Can you help us connect how marketing can contribute to the economic development of any country? Just to give an example here. Because you know how
Yeah,
marketing is perceived in Pakistan mostly that is just for marketing. It's not.
definitely. I think I also faced quite a big challenge when I was writing my personal statement because marketing is like, how can you relate it to a
Yeah.
developmental change for your country, you know? It's like a very difficult thing to do because there are lots of different majors that are actually quite directly connected to this developmental, change for your country. So for me, it was finding the right story. I mean, everybody has a story. I believe that, and you just need to find the right, not just words, also the right kind of story you want to tell in your application. And I think at my time, we had 500 words to write that story. And I believe now it's been reduced to even less, which is, I think, 350 words. Yeah. So it's even quite more challenging now. Before getting into the kind of story I wrote, I wanted to talk about the sectioning of my story, of my application. And that's very important, I would say. So whenever you're trying to write your developmental impact story, based on my experience, I divide it into 4 to 5 things. Um, 4 to 5 things, I mean 4 to 5 paragraphs. And the first paragraph I started with was highlighting the challenge or the problem Pakistan is facing currently. And in these kind of applications, you never, badmouth your own country. You always present it as a challenge or kind of an opportunity, which you can take only if you get this scholarship and if you get into this program. And only after that, only after getting that global exposure, you can come back and help your country. So you have to write that challenge or problem in a way that it presents as an opportunity. So first paragraph is always going to be about that, right on the nail, that there's an issue and there is a problem, and you have to back that problem or challenge on based on statistics. Okay, so you can't just say there is an issue. You have to back it up with some kind of stats from any kind of organization, and then you have built that solid ground for your opportunity or challenge. And then after that, you need to tell them currently what you are doing right now is also relevant to that opportunity. You're already doing something for that, issue. So that would be your current experiences, current or past experiences you have been doing. And then the third paragraph would be about your future goals. Okay. After telling them what you're doing right now, they lead to those future goals. Okay, so you need to highlight those future goals. You can actually divide that paragraph into two things. First would be short-term goals, and then you can also highlight the long-term goals as well, which would be the ultimate goal of doing this degree or having that scholarship, which would help you achieve that long-term goal. And then lastly, you would, even before that last paragraph, you can actually talk about some volunteer experience as well, which would also, connect to this same issue, but that would help people understand that you're not just doing it for money. You're also coming from the background that you want to help your country no matter what the cost is, right? So that paragraph would be about your volunteer experience, that you're already doing some workshops in rural areas or some far-flung areas in Pakistan, enabling people, understand what marketing is about or whatnot. And then last paragraph would be about why University of Nottingham is the right choice and why this scholarship is the right choice for you and why should you be chosen, right? And then in that paragraph, you need to highlight that this scholarship is actually the right next step in your career. And why is it right next step? Because you have already explained that you're already at your full potential in Pakistan. You have already done your undergrad. You have already done what you could in your current capacity. And you need a topping, on based on all those experiences. Now you need a global exposure to, enhance your impact in your country. So this is the kind of sectioning I did in my application in those 500 words. I know it's not a lot of words, but trust me, it's a lot of words because I remember when I applied for Global UGrad program, I had to do the same sectioning for 250 words application. So it's never about the words, it's always about the story. So I would suggest to write down the story without thinking about the words first. So my first draft was 1,500 words for this application because I didn't limit myself. I never limit myself. So I wrote my story, whatever I had in my mind, and then I started sharpening it down based on the criteria and also from the lens of does this thing help my country? And then if I thought that no, I just deleted that. So cutting it down, cutting it down, cutting it down. And then I reached that 500 words limit. Talking about my own, sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a quick note that thank you for reminding us that it's not about the word limit because your creativity is limited. If you want to talk about more important things, then it will not be happening. So thank you for adding that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Because I know that I've been here where you are right now. I'm talking to the students, prospective students. I've been here and it's not it's a tough spot to be in, to be honest. But I would say that initially when you're starting your whole process, you need to work on all of your ammunition, your resume, your cover letters, your letter of recommendations, and your personal statements. All of these things need to be ready because before starting your application process for different universities, you need to have all of those things in place. And then only you can easily apply for different universities. Talking about DSS, in my application, how marketing could help Pakistan, it was actually it was quite interesting for me to be honest. So in my application, I can just give you an example of how I started my application. It was just writing like a story. I just said that in today's age, when we are, eating in front of our TV with our families, we are constantly bombarded with multiple ads in front of us. Every single minute, there is an ad. And I wrote it just like that in a conversational tone so that, the other person doesn't feel like it's yet another statement of purpose. And then I highlighted quite a challenge that we face in Pakistan that I quoted the statistics that almost 53 or I think 57% of people in Pakistan do not have the luxury of getting bombarded with those ads. They do not even know what those ads are because they do not have access to that internet, right? And then I created that issue and then I pivoted my application that I want to get this scholarship and get that degree of marketing so that I can go back to Pakistan, open a consultancy firm, and highlight the importance of, internet and marketing and create an awareness about how marketing can actually improve the overall condition of Pakistan. People can be accepting the change of technology because I feel like people do not accept this change of technology in Pakistan quite rapidly. They wait and wait and wait, and then when the whole world is ahead of us, then only we accept that change and we are left behind with nothing. We are left behind with crumbs only. So my whole idea was to open a firm and do and use that marketing degree to create that awareness on a national scale in Pakistan, that we should, actively be looking out for new kind of technologies, and we should be accepting those technologies and use it for gains and use it to uplift the economy. So that was kind of the angle for my marketing application for DSS.
Okay, that is very interesting. Thank you for telling us the background for this. I will give you 1 minute break just to it got me thinking. Without marketing and advertising or design or creative art, we would not be able to live in this world. It's like we won't know how to do something with what product, what benefits we have, what rights we have. That reminded me, we don't often think about this, but people who have an undergrad in, for example, public policy or public administration, they can actually go for marketing related programs because the kind of policies they are trying to raise awareness about, they cannot be done without marketing. And that reminded me, when I was in the US, I actually took up one module which was about multicultural marketing, because there were so many hidden bias in the way we present our marketing and adverts. Our policies are biased. So I have to analyze one policy, which is in education we have no child left behind. That is one of the US policies for that. And then there was another policy for Disability Act. So this is almost the 45th year the policy is still there, but every year they do marketing just to remind people, as a people with a disability, as a person with disability, you have these rights. You need to be reminded about your rights. It's so funny if you think about it, that without marketing, nothing can be done in this world.
Definitely. I think it's just about creating that need, that there is a need for this in Pakistan right now. Whatever it is, designing, whatever your degree or your interest is, you just need to create a, a a dearth about that subject in Pakistan. Only then they would see that, oh, right, they're already, on the top of everything, and they've done whatever they could in Pakistan. And now the next right step is to get this degree, in their career. So that's how you need to shift the angle of your application, I would say.
Okay, so I think we do know a lot of, a lot of people applying, and they are also repeat applicants. They're trying to get at least 50% funding. And I think I had the honor of reviewing one statement. I could tell what they were, what they can do better, but the development impact and the priority for your program. Why are you a good candidate for this scholarship? How can people stand out? Do you have any advice for that?
Yes, actually, I've actually reviewed some of the statements as well for DSS, and one of the critical issues I've seen is when we're talking about the current experiences, future goals, and why should I be chosen for this scholarship, there's no relation in these three things. They're all three good things. They're amazing things. They're amazing future goals. They're amazing past experiences, but there is no relevance, you know. So what we need to do is in this application is we need to make sense that what we did was for this specific issue, and what we hope to do in future is also for this specific to alleviate this kind of issue in Pakistan. So all of that needs to center around that one specific challenge you're talking about, that Pakistan is facing right now. So if you ace that, you're like golden. If you know how to, if you're talking about past experiences that you have done a marketing campaign in Pakistan with some company, so what matters is what you did in that campaign, that you tried to make raise an awareness in a rural area in Pakistan about something specific, and that leads to thinking them that, oh, they've already done something regarding this, and they hope to do that in future as well on a bigger scale. But to do that on big scale, they need to have this degree. And to have this degree, they need the scholarship, you know. So having that connection in those 3 or 4 different paragraphs, that feels like they're talking about the same specific issue, that's very important, I would say.
Yeah, I agree as well that imagine that you are competing with similar program major. That's one thing. You have some kind of experience. I know someone who has worked with unicorn startups in South Asia on fintech financial technology. And the kind of program they are going for is strategic marketing and management. It's kind of very businessy. I mean, it's housed in the business program, but then they could remember to connect with the development impact because I sympathize with them when they say I work in a very small role within my company, but I mean, you could probably add more on that better than me. I think just connect it to the overall sustainable development goal that your work is contributing to. I think it happens that in Pakistan or probably in other countries, when you're so focused on your daily task, you forget that your work is directly or indirectly impacting a bigger issue in your country. We have this kind of
Yeah.
tunnel vision because we forget that we are just one employee in the company. So it happens, but to take a bigger picture or take a bird eye view on this whole thing, I think that helps more people visualize. I don't know, maybe you can add something.
No, I definitely agree with you on that because sometimes when you're working, you actually forget that why you're working, you know. So that why you need to take a break and think about it. Like, so I still remember that after 3 years of working, I actually made a Word document to write what have I done in these 3 years? Because
Okay.
you don't even remember some of the times you did some great things and you took them for granted and you just forget about them. Sometimes I just go through that document to make myself remember that I did all of this stuff and I can always mention this anywhere where there's an application or something like that. So that's the reason I had, those thoughts connected because I had that list in front of me that, but what did I do in those 3 years when I was working? So
Yeah.
having those things right in front of you is actually a good idea because sometimes you don't even know what connects with what.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
have those sticky notes out in front of you and write what you did, in your work, in your daily life. You can actually highlight some other instances apart from your work. I mean, it's not just about work experience. It's about experiences only, not work experiences. So it can be a charity work you did, which connects to that specific issue in Pakistan. It could be anything. But the only thing that it needs to be is everything needs to make sense only from that one lens perspective. Everything needs to fall back to one specific thing that it goes back to that specific issue you talked about in your first paragraph. And then whenever they're reading something, they need to be reminded about that issue,
Yeah.
whatever you wrote in the first paragraph, so that they do not forget that whatever you're saying is based on that. And whatever you're saying, you are going to help your country when you go back.
Right. The kind of Word document we now call that, I mean, it's official, we call that a second brain there. You can share some of the notes. I will with my manager just to remind them my appraisal is positive, you need to grant me a promotion now. You can even share some of those with your manager, it helps you reflect. You can remember all that you have done over the 3 years, and you feel your contribution is basic or you're just doing for the bottom line of the company. And that reminds me, I wanted to ask you, do you think that anyone who is planning to apply next year or this year, if they're building their profile, what kind of experience can they build? Do you think they can just build any experience related to the field, or maybe do some kind of very high level experience? Anything to add here? Because people worry that while I'm in my undergrad, what kind of experience should I build apart from working at FMCG or multinational company? I advocate for non-profit stuff.
Right. I think there are two kinds of people who are coming for a master's. The first kind is who are coming right after graduation. They do not have work experience. And the other people are who do have some kind of work experience, and then they're coming to do a master's here. So for the first kind, I would say, I mean, it doesn't matter because you do not even have work experience. But what you do have is your 4 years of university experience and what you did over there. I mean, if you didn't do anything in those 4 years, that speaks volumes about you then, you know.
Yeah.
Why should University of Nottingham or Oxford University or Cambridge should even, you know, select you if you do not have anything to talk about from those 4 years? So when you're in your undergrad, you need to choose maybe societies or your class projects very carefully if you're planning to come for a master's in the future. So maybe, you know, whatever you're doing, you need to have a 5-year plan in your mind, not like on paper or anything, but you need to be very clear about that. If you want to come for a master's, what kind of master's it could look like. You know, you might not know in your second year or junior year, but you might be clear about it in your senior year, you know, that you want to go for your master's right after your undergrad, and this is the major that it would be. And then you need to take some kind of research projects with your, you know, professors or anything. For example, one of the things I did with my professor was that one of the projects we did, it was really good. And then my professor, she offered me to write a case study with her on that, you know, and that case study she used to teach in her classrooms then after that. So you need to think bigger than what you're doing right now. It can actually lead to multiple things. It has a ripple effect, you know. And also, you could also do some volunteer work as well with nonprofit organizations, because that do, you know, that does add a lot of difference in your application when there is a nonprofit organization work that complements your, you know, paid work, you know, work experience. So that also helps your application give a different angle, I would say. So apart from that, the other kinds of students who have work experience and they are still in their, you know, journey of coming to the master's programs, I would say that stop working on tasks, start working on projects.
Yeah.
So do not think that like whatever you're doing in 7 days, it's not just 7 days. It needs to converge into a month's goal or maybe 3 months goal, you know. So whatever you're doing, you need to think about how does it help, you know, my career, first of all, and then how does it help my country? Um, so, for example, if it is marketing experience, I am not just working for my company. If I work well, my company is going to be good, I know. And then if my company gets good, it actually uplifts the economy of Pakistan. And through that, the overall economy, we get more dollars in the country, and that's how you actually help your country become a better
Yeah.
one, you know. So you need to write whatever it is. I think every application is kind of similar, to be honest. It's just the same.
It's
Your
very
current experience,
similar.
yeah, it's just your past experiences, your future goals, and why should we choose you? That's it. And if you can write those things without the word limit first, write whatever you can, whatever you think you have done in your life that you think is good. It is a good story, you know. It's gonna make an impact if you tell it to someone. Just write that and then trim it down, and then hopefully, you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good story.
Well, very interesting. Very interesting. Was there any interview as part of this scholarship that you had any?
I don't believe so because it was just that application in which we wrote answers for questions, and then we just got the decision. That's it.
That does mean the application is everything.
Yes, application is everything. I mean, for the first scholarship, that is business school scholarship, for that they look for the statement of purpose, which does not have a word limit.
Okay.
You're given open hand. You just need to write a story, and then they choose some students for that scholarship. They just there is no criteria, nothing. You do not even have to fill a separate application for that. You just apply for your program with an SOP, one letter of recommendation, and with your other documents. And then when you get an offer, you just after 2 weeks, they if you are if they think that you have potential, they just give you that scholarship right then and there, 50% scholarship. And I just wanted to make one thing. I wanted to mention one thing was that if you're targeting both of these scholarships, which is business school scholarship and also the DSS one, for business school scholarship, one of the things I noticed is that timing of your application matters a lot because that scholarship is funding based. So the university gets a funding in December, and then they need to distribute that funding in terms of scholarships by February, I think. So if you make
Okay.
your application to, and I'm talking about University of Nottingham. So if you're, and if you can apply for University of Nottingham by January or first week of February, I think you have high chances of getting that scholarship because most of the students, they are not even ready by February to apply for
Good.
universities.
Yes.
The pool is quite short and you're competing with very low number of students. So if the criteria was to be 90%, you know, there are not enough people to get that criteria to 90%. So the criteria is generally low in those months. So if you apply by that time, you have really high chances of getting that scholarship on your own. And then the DSS applications open up, and then you're competing with all of the, developing countries for that scholarship, which is a lot of like a big number, I would say.
Uh, that that window is so important because UK program they have a rolling admission till July even, but for international students you have to be mindful about the visa time as well. But this window that you mentioned, if the application open in October last year, you have till this whole 6 months to apply, but for the internal scholarship, there is a window to target. And also, it's not public knowledge. It's like people like you sharing with us. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not public knowledge. I actually
Yeah.
realized this year when other students were coming and they reached out to me for reviewing their applications and whatnot. So I realized what is the specific time and how does it work. And I met with some careers department people as well. And I got to know about the funding aspect of business school. When do they get the funding? And if they do give out those scholarships, where are those scholarships coming from? And I got to know that they're based on that funding. And that's just got me thinking that, what is the right time for them to distribute that funding?
Right. By the way, just to confirm, this business scholarship is different from the regional one.
So there are three
The
scholarships in which
regional one is another.
yeah, I think, yeah, because this one is called um, Nottingham
Graduate,
University.
postgraduate excellence.
No,
No?
that's the one. So
Okay.
University of Nottingham gives out a lot of scholarships, to be honest. If you
Yes.
just apply and come, they do give out a lot of scholarships, and it's really easy to. I mean, it's competitive, but it's not too difficult to get those scholarships. So one of the scholarships is the one I talked about, which is just based on your application, no other
Okay.
applications, no questions, which is Nottingham University Business School. Um, Dean's Excellence Scholarship, which
Okay.
is which they give out just based on your application. No, nothing,
Okay.
no like separate application, no questions, nothing. Just your application, and if you qualify, they just give out that scholarship based on that
Okay.
application. And then after that, there are two other applications that open up. One is DSS one, and the other one is Postgraduate Excellence
Yeah,
Scholarship.
right. Okay. Okay.
So those two are like after. And the postgraduate excellence scholarship is based on your academics, your
And
grade, CGPA. And the Developing Solution Scholarship is based on your developmental impact you can create after getting this degree, you know, going back
After
to Pakistan.
graduation, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to help out, because I know that this is your tuition waiver for the most part, your tuition is well, but if someone is planning to apply, any advice for how to take care of your maintenance, your living maintenance for the entire year? I mean, students can do part-time job, any other thing they can do from here, like from here while they are applying.
Yeah. Um, it's not going to be an easy journey. I am not going to sugarcoat it. If you're planning to come to the UK, it's even more difficult now. There are tough times ahead because of the new rules and policies since this April.
Yeah.
But but not to say that you shouldn't come. I would encourage you to always come and write your own destiny, to be honest, as they say. Because before I was coming here, I had also the same concerns and questions, but I didn't just say that, oh, I shouldn't go, because there were people who told me that it's going to be really tough. But then people come, they create their own paths, they get the jobs, everyone survives. Everyone who comes here, they survive. No one I've ever seen, they come and they go back to Pakistan. So, first of all, that you should always plan and come.
Yeah.
But the planning bit is really important. Like you have to plan your finances, first of all. You need to see that you actually do have the money to come here. You can't just think that I just need to get into the country and then I'll survive. That's impossible. You need to take care of your tuition, all of the tuition, because living here is expensive. And if you are planning to do a part-time job, which I would highly encourage you to do, because that's how you get into connection with other people, and that's how you maybe get a full-time
Yeah.
job as well sometimes. So, but a part-time job only covers your accommodation rent and your monthly groceries expenses. That's it. And you're left with maybe 20 bucks in your pocket at the end of the month. So if someone is planning to come to the UK, they need to definitely take care of their tuition for sure. You can't earn that much by 20 hours work that you can pay your tuition as well as your accommodation. But if you have your tuition sorted out, you can work here for 20 hours a week and you can earn enough to I mean, I've lived comfortable life. I'm not gonna lie. I just worked 20 hours a week and I paid
Uh,
my rent for accommodation. I paid for my groceries. I went out once a week as well if I wanted to. And it was more than enough. You earn almost 800 pounds a month, which is more than enough to pay five to 600 pounds your rent and then maybe 100 pounds of your groceries for a month or 150 pounds. And then you're still left with some kind of money at the end of the month.
okay. So this is the rent, average rent for Nottingham is lower than London, that I understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
definitely.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful cities I've lived in, to be honest. And considering that we have both been to the US and we have seen a lot of US, but it's a really beautiful city and also it's a student city because there are two universities here, just like Boston. It's a
Very like Boston.
student driven city, you know. You see students everywhere here. A lot of young generation here and the average cost of living here is really low as compared to London. So for the same kind of room I have here, and I'm paying £550 a month, you
Okay.
would be paying £1,200 a month over there, which is more than double.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would say it's actually a smart choice to choose a Russell Group university and still be in a city which is not expensive, because that's how you actually save a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, I won't take much of your time, but we actually had someone joining, but they are unable to. They wanted to interact with you directly, but hopefully they will reach out to you probably later. But one just one final question I have. How's your job going? Did you had a good time finding a job?
Yeah, I actually found my job through University of Nottingham
Okay.
because they have the postgraduate placement scheme
Yeah.
and lots of other schemes as well. So I just applied for that, which was a 200 hours kind of a thing. And I applied for that. I got into a company, which is a very small company. I worked with them for 200 hours and I proved myself in those 200 hours that even after my placement ended, they hired me independently on part-time basis because of my visa. And I
Okay.
worked with them for part-time. I wanted to tell you before even that how my job journey was before full time. When I came to the UK, there's an interesting story, to be honest. I actually went to this uh, bakery kind of a thing, dessert shop, I would say. I went there. We were just looking for a job with my friend. We had our resumes in our hands and we were just going door to door, just like old school, which is not a good idea, to be honest. It's not smart, I would say. But it did, get me a good thing. Then when I went to that bakery shop or dessert shop, I was just saying that, do you have any part-time jobs? And it's really wise to, so the timing of coming to the UK also matters. So me and my friend, so you're allowed to come, I think 10 or maybe 10 days or 14 days before your degree, I think. So the timing matters a lot. So 17th September is the date when your university starts, I think, or 23rd. Whatever is the date.
Yeah.
We came a week before and we lived in an Airbnb because the student accommodation wasn't opened until 17th. We came to the UK 13th of September. We had 4 full days when there was no student on campus or in the city. I couldn't even see one student, but we had really less competition. We went out and got a job in the first week. That's it. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. But when we went to that dessert shop, I asked him to give me a job in like kitchen or something. But then when he saw me talking, he said that, what did you do previously? And I told him that, I had been working in marketing for 3 years and he just handed his Instagram to me to, do marketing for him.
Okay.
So you need to be really thinking about you need to be always ready to pitch yourself, first of all, that you have a elevator pitch ready for 2 minutes. You can talk about what you can do for the business, and you never know that you're gonna get a marketing part-time job even on the first try. And then after that, when that ended, I worked with Notts County Football Club for their marketing. And then after that, I
Uh,
started this postgraduate placement scheme. And then when that ended, they hired me on part-time basis. And after that, when I was finished with my dissertation on 26th of September, I was allowed to convert my visa to, I was allowed to work full time then, not shift my visa. I started working full time, and then when my company saw that I am going to be a good asset to the company, to the business, they applied for the sponsorship as well for me as well as for the company because they did not have the license at
oh,
that time.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did the sponsorship. It's such a huge challenge for international students otherwise.
It's gonna be difficult, but it's not impossible. It's just a matter of proving yourself that you're worth sponsoring, I would say, because there is a lot of people everywhere in here now applying for the same job. You're not just competing with locals, British people. You're also competing with the people from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, and they are really good in what they do. So you need to up your game and you need to compete and cut through that competition just solely based on your skills, that you are really good at what you do.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. And if you're a marketing guy, I mean, there's a joke among marketing people that if you're a marketing guy, then you should be able to market yourself.
Yeah, I've heard that. So yeah, it's being prepared for the right opportunity, because if there is an opportunity that presents itself to you and if you're not ready, it's not going to wait for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think not being afraid to work in a temporary position before something big comes up eventually. Like I'm really glad you went to that bakery shop. I mean, I love bakery. I'm a digital person, and if I have to work for marketing, I would rather go for them. These small bakeries, they are the ones who need most marketing focus, someone to handle their Instagram or any of this. Smart. I would
Yeah,
say that was
definitely.
very smart.
Yeah, I mean, wherever you're going, just research about them that if they need, I mean, I am a marketing person. That's why I looked from that perspective. So, for example, if you're a business analytics person, you could
Yeah,
actually research upon small companies that are in phase of, scaling up, and then you can actually help them with initially free of cost if you want to, but maybe on a project basis that you can do something for them. You can tell them that this is what I can do for you, and it's gonna actually help your business.
yeah.
So different ways you can pitch yourself to different companies. It's just a matter of, how you do it.
Yeah, it's important to be on your toes because you never know when an opportunity knocks up. Well, thank you so much, Mamoon. Everything is very helpful, not just for me, but to anyone who is listening in. Any final word of advice, even though you have offered a lot, and any final word, someone who is applying, what can they take care of right before submitting their application? Because that window is also important.
I would say, I think how many days are left?
10 days starting today. 17th April is the deadline.
Right, 17th April. I would say that finish up your application as soon as you can, first of all,
Mm,
because writing an application, when you're in the process, you actually forget a lot of stuff when you're in the process of writing. You need to start your reviewing process as of now. You need to review it first on your own, because if you think it's not good enough, nobody else is going to think it's good enough.
yeah,
So you yourself need to review your application on daily basis. Every single time, I'm going to tell you, if when I wrote my application and I had reviewed it multiple times, I never got it reviewed from anyone. I just reviewed it myself and I submitted. That's it, because I was sure that it's good enough. And how did I do that is, whenever you go to sleep or whenever you take a break from your reviewing your application, the next day when you come back and read it, new perspective,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So you need to do that again and again and again, that finally until you get that at that point that it's really good now, whenever, or you can make it read it to your siblings. To be honest, they are the best critique in your
yeah.
life. I
Oh, no doubt about that.
Exactly. So you don't need someone professional. You just need to give it to you. I just gave it to my sister and I asked her, what does she remember from the whole application? And she just told me that I just remembered that you want to do something for Pakistan. You just need to get that one perspective, one word perspective from someone. That's it.
Yeah. People need to remember at least one or two things from your statement or application to be memorable. That thing is, thank you for reminding us. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my advice. I would say that don't keep it till the last minute. Finish it right now. Start the review process, because it takes a lot of time to review and then write again, then review and then write again. I would say that I did 3 times the reviewing process I did, because that's how you actually refine the vocabulary, the right kind of tone and right kind of words you want to tell your story in. And it should sound like you. It shouldn't sound like someone else.
Yeah.
My story, when my sister read it, she said that it's literally like you talking. So
Yes.
it should be like,
Yeah, if you remove the name or the profile, they should be able to tell that if there was, by the way, if there was an interview, then that will have been another chance to over justify that the application in front of you. I have written that it's me, I'm being a realist here. That's me here. That's
yeah.
another challenge when there's an interview, but when there's not, it's also difficult. Everything weighs down on your application. You have only one chance to get the award. in 1 year. I mean, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much, Mamoon. And would that be okay if people reach out to you one-on-one just for a quick review of the application before they submit, or are you really bombarded with all these requests?
I would have actually loved to because I do that on like occasional basis a lot because I want to help as many people as I can. But I've already finished the process this week because the next week I'm not in Nottingham and I'm traveling
Okay,
for my work and yeah, it's like there are new people joining my company and we are having some kind of meetups and
okay. Yeah, we totally understand. All the best to you and hope you get more wonderful things. I know you have worked really hard and thank you for your time today. And we can now wrap this up.
thank you so much and really appreciate you having me here. And yeah, good luck to everybody who is applying and trying to change their lives, trying to turn around their lives. It's gonna be tough, but it's not impossible. That's what I can say.
Yeah, yeah, it's not impossible. It takes time. You need to know who you really are. Maybe it's not the best time for you when you are applying. Maybe next year, we never know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you again, Mamoon. I will be in touch with you. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good, oh, good night. Have a good night.
Yeah, yeah. Have a good night. You too.